economic growth of a country. Since the advent of GST, the government has tried to reduce taxation complexities, iron out compliance hiccups and anomalies with respect to various issues. However, there are still a plethora of issues on which industry seeks government intervention. Let's discuss all aspects of indirect tax, including GST, and what could be in order by the way of changes in indirect taxation regime in Budget 2024. Joining us is Girish, Vanvari, founder at Transaction Square and former national leader tax KPMG. Thank you very much, Girish, for taking time out. I think we'll begin by first asking you, as far as GST is concerned, there are of course various expectations from what could be in order when it comes to changes that are expected from the goods and service tax regime. What are your big expectations, sir?
Actually, to be honest, I don't see too much happening on the GST front in the budget, because as you know, it's the ministry, which is the committee which meets, and this is anyway a vote on account. So there should not be actually any changes in the GST in the budget. GST collections have been very buoyant. So I would be very surprised if there would be any changes in the GST in the budget. Where the focus would be actually on personal taxes. Though the law is that as per the Election Commission, you cannot have any big announcement which can influence the vote banks. But there have been precedents in the past where personal taxes have been tinkered, wherein you could give more standard deduction or increase the slab rates or make the new regime very attractive compared to the old regime. And the two things which the focus area would be house property, whether the deduction for interest on self-occupied house should be deducted under the new regime. Those are some areas where we should focus on. HRA, whether that should be given as a concession in the new regime. On GST, I don't think anything will happen, because it is the group of ministers which meet, and they will wait for bigger things in the GST front only when the new government comes in.
Mr. Vanvari, what about the auto sector? Because I believe, the auto sector, there's this fight right now on whether India should take the EV route or India should take the hybrid route. Now, since you're saying GST may not be tinkered with in the budget speech, but do you think there could be an exception on, let's say, including hybrids under the same tax net as electric vehicles, where electric vehicles enjoy a 5% GST and hybrids, continue to bear as high as 28%?
I think that change can come with a group of ministers meeting.
Okay.
You don't need to go to the budget for that, because that is something which could anyway happen outside the budget too.
Right.
Yes, there is a crying need to encourage hybrids, because hybrids are where the future is.
Yeah.
Only EVs will be difficult to execute. But will the budget be bold enough to do that? I don't know. It will come in the group of ministers in my judgment.
Right.
But yes, for the auto sector, there are two things which one needs to watch. First is the PLI scheme.
Right.
In what is the extension of that? What is the allocations to that? What more encouragements will the PLI schemes give to auto, both EV as well as the regular auto?
Right.
And second is, what is going to happen to this, commencement of production by 31st March 2024 for manufacturing activities, on which the concessional tax rate of 15% corporate tax rate is based on.
Right.
Can that be extended? And a lot of auto ancillaries are in a mold wherein they want that extension, because some expansions will get into production next year. Okay. So that's the two areas where we should watch. But again, PLI also will be statements of intent.
Yeah.
And the detailed PLI schemes will follow once the elections are done.
Okay, and what about gold, sir? To your mind, do you think gold and custom duties on gold is something that the government should tinker with, and if yes, which direction? Because India has spent almost $300 billion importing gold in the current financial year up till December. So in the 9 months of the financial year, we've ended up spending about $300 billion in gold imports. While at some level this is money, Indian money, which is going out. These are imports, increasing the import bill. At another level, this is also something which is keeping the real estate sector, I beg your pardon, the jewelry, gems and jewelry sector alive. So, should there be some tinkering in custom duties on gold?
I think it will all depend upon how the Gift City initiative for the bullion exchange and how does the whole sector pan out, because there is also bullion exchange which is now picking up, doing well.
Yeah, yeah.
And as far as gold imports are concerned, there are two categories. One is gold imports for exports, and second is gold imports for hoarding and consumption.
Right.
Certainly, I don't see any case for a reduction of duty from 15 to 5 on the gold which is used for domestic consumption, because they want people to put back money into the growth
Right.
and not in gold hoarding.
Right.
But yes, a scheme wherein gold is imported and remodeled, rejeweled, and sent back as an export through some mechanism can be a part of it. But really, how Gift City will play a part in at least the ETFs and the bullion exchange is something which time will see how it pans out.
All right, Girish, on another commodity equally important, perhaps more important, fuel. There is an expectation that there could be perhaps some tinkering on fuel taxes. Now, currently we pay about 37% of the total money we are spending on fuel, we pay as taxes. There is an expectation also because, as you rightly mentioned, this is election, although government not expected to make any announcement that could affect election one way or the other. But fuel changes or any taxation changes to fuel by way of cut in excise duty, are you expecting that in budget?
At this point of time, there is some place where you could have some cut, but the burden will have to go to the OMCs. And at this point of time, what I see is the government is very cautious of running the PSUs with good integrity, good governance. So what is the pricing they will have for fuel? How much of it they will subsidize by cuts in the excise duty rate, and how much they will make the OMC bear is a maths they will do. But I've been reflecting, this government will not do something which will harm the longer term just to get elections kudos, because that's the way the governance of this government has been. So I don't see small steps which will just create excitement and harm the overall sector. So I would say it would be a combination of OMC bearing and some reduction if possible, but it won't be significant.
Okay, and what about green energy, sir? Green energy or green electricity, as the case may be? We are also talking about solar panels to be installed in about 1 crore houses. Is that something that you think can be incentivized?
It is not. That will happen in the main budget, which will come. No.
Okay.
Why will it come? Because this is just a vote on account.
Right.
Not a full budget.
Understood. But what are your expectations when it comes to full budget as well? I know we're far too ahead, we're far too early, but what sort of changes are you expecting this year?
I think it will be more focused on compliance, more focused on automation, more focused on governance. So dispute resolution to end, no crazy planning, be more pay your taxes right. And there will be incentivization to sectors. Real estate is one of them. I see infrastructure, green energy, ESG. So really where the focus is, they will use the tax mechanism to move it in that direction, be it GST or be it the corporate tax rates. But really it will be more and more towards compliance. The two fear which has to be watched out is that will there be a temptation to tax capital gains tax on sale of shares? And second thing which will have to be really thought about and looked into is that will inheritance tax come at some point of time? So these are the two things which will keep worrying people. That is there a case for that tax rate of 10% to go higher up for capital gains tax because so much money is getting made in stock?
All right, Girish Vanvari, thank you very much, sir, for joining in, for sharing your thoughts on what your expectations of this budget are, and hopefully what budget, the full budget, whichever government comes back to power, or comes to power rather, would come and do by the way of budget 2024. We continue to get you all the latest as far as expectations is concerned in the run up to budget 2024. Just about 2 days from now, we'll bring in exclusive coverage right here on News 9. Thank you very much for watching.
India's most